right, welcome on back to another edition of the Planning Pulse brought to you by Okorio, an active cyber company. My name is Beau Mellin, brought to you as always with my co-host Matt Harvison. Today we're going to be digging into an offering we are super excited about here at Okorio, which is our free 1 hour model review for all adaptive planning customers. Now, adaptive planning has been around for a long time and it's got quite the customer base of around 6,800 customers. Some of those customers onboarding in the past year or two, but we've even interacted with customers, Matt, that have been on Adaptive for over 10 years now, right? Processes change, businesses change, structural elements change, and we want to be here for you to, you know, dig under the hood, take a look at what you have going on, and make sure you're leveraging Adaptive to its fullest capabilities. Inside of these free 1 hour model reviews, Matt, we're going to take a look at structural elements to optimize your models, make sure that performance is working appropriately on all of your cube sheets with a lot of dimensional intersections. We've implemented Adaptive for over 500 customers now, and we want to make sure that you are implementing and leveraging best practices. These are just some of the few takeaways, Matt, that we dive deep into in this free model review that we are providing customers. It's something I've seen a lot of our customers get a lot of value out of, Matt, and I'm excited to hear you talk a little bit. And I know you're going to show a thing or two of what we really dive into in these model reviews.
Yeah, and before we dive in, I just want to say, when we're talking about maximizing, efficiency, maximizing opportunity, I'm seeing you're maximizing, your Okorio logos here today too. The background, the shirt, you look like the
Let's
first pick in
go.
the draft, Beau. You look
Come
great.
on now.
I'm really excited to be sharing the stage with you here today. I know most of our most of our followers, most of our subscribers really like it whenever Beau's the one that gets the opportunity to demo, but I'm excited every once in a while to throw my hat in the ring as well. So when we talk about model reviews, Beau, you're absolutely right. What we're looking to do is maximize your investments in Workday Adaptive Planning, the enterprise performance management tool. A lot of people who deployed it maybe 5 years ago or 8 years ago did so at the time with best practice recommendations at the time, but especially now with the reinvestment back into the tool that folks see from Workday with the R1 and R2 releases, there's a lot of new best practices that are constantly coming out. So this model review that we do with our customers serves to close the gap from where you implemented previously to where the tool is today, and it helps to outline that roadmap of the steps that you need to take in order to get there. So this free model review that we do is absolutely great service. There's no cost, no obligation to even take that roadmap, but it just gives you a little bit more of a, art of the possible. What's next? What can we do with this tool to make it a little bit better for us and how we plan? So like Beau mentioned, I am going to show just a little brief snippet to the kind of things that we look at when we're going through our model review. So as you can see, I've got Workday Adaptive Planning pulled up on the screen. And again, before I go anywhere, the what's new releases that are coming up, we are at that time of the year where R1 release is coming out. You can see some of the things that are coming out. If you're not checking into what's new inside of Workday Adaptive Planning, be sure to do that. This is a self-service tool, so sometimes you can take those updates, take those changes, and deploy them yourself. But inside of our standard offering for model review, we start with the most important, most critical piece or component of your adaptive planning instance. That's the foundational data model. If you've watched any of our historic podcast episodes, you know that we are big into talking about versions, big into talking about levels, accounts. Those are the foundation that everything is built on top of. So that is where we start inside of our model reviews. Now, it's important to note in a model review, you're the ones hands-on keyboards. We're not going to get access to your instance. We're not going to be able to go in and click around or do anything like that. We want you to drive, show us your pain points again, show us how you're planning today. So maybe we dig into talking about versions. Do you have sub-actuals versions? Do you have a lot of forecast versions? We may want to do some version cleanup. A lot of times, some people put in 5, 10, 20 versions in a month or in a year, and then those versions build up. Are we going in and we're looking at those? Are we using those versions? So that's one of the things that we do. Levels. We want to make sure that the organizational structure, hierarchy that you use to plan follows what your business looks like today. Are you using levels to be that foundation for security and access privileges? Are you using dimension access controls as well? So we're going to look at permissions. We'll look at security settings. We'll also look at accounts. Again, part of that foundational component. One of the things with accounts is, how are we getting data from our models to our accounts? Again, if you implemented 5+ years ago, you might be using something that's called shared formulas. Shared formulas are great. They were best practice at the time. Now we've got the ability to do multi-links to our accounts. What that allows us to do is have more dynamic reporting, more dynamic reporting and flexibility when it comes to dimensions and drill through and pivoting and filters. So we're going to want to talk about some of these things. How you set up in the past really determines things like what our reporting output could look like in the future as well. So we want to make sure that we get you brought up to date in terms of best practice recommendations. Okay. Now, outside of just talking about best practice, getting you up to date, we're also going to take a look at things like your existing sheets. Like Beau said, with your cube sheets, we may want to run formula validation. Just make sure that everything's working. If you've ever popped in and your income statement was showing a red value, or if you've ever tried to run a report and something didn't pull up the way that you would expect it to, we want to dig in to see if we can do some formula validation and enhancements within your models as well. And then lastly, your connection that you've got from maybe a source system or 2 or 3 coming into adaptive. Again, adaptive's great whenever you want to treat it as that single source of truth. We want to make sure that the connection between your source systems and adaptive is working optimally. We're going to make sure that there's no missing mappings, no failures. So we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look under the hood of everything from your foundation, the model and sheet creation with formula validation. We'll look at reporting output. Make sure that you're getting the output that you're looking for with the ability to drill in, pivot, filter. And then lastly, we're also going to make sure that the connection with your source systems is working the way that it should. It's bringing in all the data that it should. So our free 1-hour model review that we've got right now is a great option for you if maybe you implemented a long time ago, or if maybe somebody else in your organization was the one that was responsible for implementing, and maybe you've inherited the system. You want to learn a little bit more about how your system was set up. We are here to help you with that. So, Beau, that's just a brief sort of under the hood look at what you get in a model review. Anything that I may have missed there that you'd like to add in?
No, I thought you nailed it, Matt. I think my big takeaway is the fact that, adaptive is a super comprehensive system that can do a lot. We're going to uncover, things that you could be doing better and what you're actively working on right now inside of your environment. But to Matt's point, right? We have a lot of customers and we talk with a lot of prospects that aren't even leveraging all of this functionality, not even close to it. And so, sure, we're going to make sure everything you have in place is better today, but I also really like emphasizing the road mapping aspect as well as where can we help you get as well. So I think that's also another really valuable part outside of the model review, Matt.
Yeah, I think that's really important to note too, is we don't want to just come in and re-implement your system. What we want to do is just come in, take a look, make sure that you're using it the best that you can, provide some recommendations for enhancements that you may not be leveraging. Active dashboards is a great example, and dimension access controls is a great example. We just want to make sure that you're getting the most out of the tool. Let's see if we can identify some low-hanging fruit if we can. Let's talk about reporting. Let's talk about Office Connect. What are we using today? How can we be using it better? Really, it's to help you gain better adoption of the tool and maximize the investment that you've already put in. So I think that's a great call out there, Beau, that it's not just the roadmap, but it's also, some deep dive into your processes today.
Yeah, love it. Love it. All right, guys, we're already doing this with customers today, and we're excited to do it with a lot more of the adaptive planning customers out there. So if you're on the Workday side, you please reach out to someone here at Okorio, or if you're maybe on the customer side, you can email us at drworkday@okorio.com to book that free 1-hour model review. We're really excited to do these with a lot of you guys coming up here in the future. Stay tuned for a lot of great future Planning Pulse episodes. Matt and I have a great roadmap of future demos, talking about the new releases coming out. So please subscribe to our new Okorio YouTube page, and we'll see you in the next one. You can plan on it.